I'm fearing to start the video, right? You know, I'm rehearsing, going over my notes, and my daughter on the couch, she watching the tab. She gonna tell me, can I talk a little bit quiet? This my house. What bills do you pay in here? What bills do you pay?
I pay.
You what?
I pay to be a kid.
A kid, exactly. Stay in the kid's place, bro. Don't tell me to talk low in my house, bro. But check it out, though, man. We got to give a big shout out to all the people I see in my comments, you know, that's getting into corrections. You going through the hiring process. And one particular comment stood out to me today, man. It made me feel really, really good inside, man. It made me feel really special, bro. And, you know, I was like, man, that really made me feel good. You know, one guy, he hit me up on one of my comments. He said, you know, I found one of your videos a while back, right? And he was like, you know, I stuck with you. You know, even the videos that you don't do that's particularly on corrections because you speak the truth. You know, you come from the heart. You know, that's what I always try to do when I come on here with these videos, bro. I don't never waste nobody's time. You know, I try to give you the honest truth, bro. Or I try to give you my emotions, how I'm feeling. That's it, bro. I don't come on here sugarcoating nothing. You feel me, bro? Wasting nobody's time because I don't want nobody to waste my time. But like I said, I got to give a big shout out to all the people I see in the comments, bro, going through the process, bro. You trying to become a correctional officer. You may have been on the fence, but you finally decided to put that application in, bro. That's why I've been making all these videos. I haven't made any lately, but hey, check it out. This week is going to be a big week. You know, I'm going to make a whole bunch of correctional officer videos this week coming up, starting with this one, bro. You know, I've been working behind the scenes. You know, I've been doing a lot of research. I've been doing a lot of note taking, bro. It's time to hit them heavy and hard because I want to see y'all win. I want to see you be successful. I want to see you get the job, and I want to see you have a long career. You know what I'm saying? It definitely has its ups and its downs, as I discussed in some of my previous videos. But what job doesn't have its ups and downs? You know, all in all, you know, me being a correctional officer, it's been good to me. You know, the good far outweighs the bad. Yes, I've seen a lot of stuff in my career. I've been doing it 14 years. August 25th made 14 years I've been in this field working in corrections. You know, I've been at 3 different facilities, 1 county jail, 2 different federal prisons, bro. I'm still standing. I'm still going. You know, I keep showing up. I still love it. You know what I'm saying? So I try to give as much game as I can, you know, to the people that's coming into the field, the new boots that's going to hit the ground running. You know, when you're working behind that wall, I just try to put you in the best foot forward so you could be successful in your job. So I'm going to give y'all some more game. We just going to run down the list, you know, things that's important working in corrections, especially as a new officer. You beginning your career, you a rookie officer, you got a lot to learn. You may see some stuff. You may see some stuff your first day on the job. I don't know. You feel me, man? You may show up, you know, you've been training, right? Then you firmly off probation, or, you know, you ain't training with a veteran officer. You by yourself on a unit. You can see somebody get stabbed that same day. I don't know. You can see somebody attempt to commit suicide. When I was a rookie, you know, I was working at the county jail in West Virginia. I was probably, 4 months on the job. I found someone that hung themselves. Literally, no lie, it was me. I was the first person to find this inmate hung himself, bro. He did it in between my rounds. I was working night shift. At the jail I worked at, we was only required to do 1 hour checks. Every hour you got to go in there and make sure everybody's alive. That's plenty time to hang yourself, bro. I found it. And, you know, it almost made me reconsider this career. You know, I was like, man, I was 20, 21 at the time. You know, I ain't really never seen nothing like that. I'm going to keep it all the way real with y'all. I never seen nobody that actually committed suicide, you know. So like I say, that can happen to you. You come into this field, your first day, you can see somebody, a homicide, a staff get assaulted really bad. You may potentially be assaulted, but it comes with it. I'm just trying to prepare you for what is possible. And, you know, some of this is going to be inevitable. You're going to be running to fights. You're going to have disturbances. You may have mental health inmates that start tripping out. They're not taking their meds. They start doing bizarre, crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I done had, the past couple weeks, you know, it's mostly quiet. Most days are routine, but I remember we had one, he started tripping out, mental health inmate. We had to take him to the ground right during mainline. We was doing chow, lunchtime, Had to take him down, bro. Put him in restraints, escort him to the shoot, bro. Tripping out his mind off his meds. You know what? I had to do suicide watch 2 different times in the past few weeks. One of them, I think he was a very assaultive mental health inmate. You know, I'm talking about he's restrained to the bed, you know. That's how assaulted he was. You know, every time we go in there and do you got to go in there every so often and do checks on these inmates, right? You know, we had to have a shield to cover his face up because he was spitting on staff members. You know what I'm saying? Assaulted, grabbing nurses. It's just, you just never know what you're going to expect, bro. But that's one of the main things, you know, going into corrections, bro. You got to always be on your toes. And I understand some of y'all, a lot of y'all, I read the comments, a lot of y'all are nervous. You scared. You like, man, I don't know if this is the right decision, bro. If it's truly in your heart and it's truly something that you want to do, it's the best thing you could do, bro. Trust me, bro. Because like I said, I've been doing it 14 years working in this field, and every day I go behind that sally port, I'm nervous. I'm scared because you just never know what you're going to get that day. So it's completely normal to be scared, to be apprehensive, to be nervous, you know, working in this field because we dealing with dangerous people, unpredictable people. You never know what's going to go down. It's a lot of gang activity depending on the prison you work at. It's a lot of people that's doing a lot of time. They got violent tendencies. People may have a bad day. They have nothing to lose. What's to say them that's stopping them from pulling out a knife and going to stab somebody? It goes down like that all the time. Mental health inmates, you know, self-mutilating themselves, cutting themselves, attempting suicide, you know, inmates trying to escape, inmates constantly ODing, getting high, you know what I'm saying? It's always something going down. So it's completely normal to, like I say, to be nervous, bro. That's going to keep you on your toes, though. That's going to keep you honest, bro, because you want to always be on your toes, bro, thinking, what if this goes down like this? What if this happens? You know, always looking over your shoulders, bro. And it ain't that you paranoid or nothing. That's just the nature of being a correctional officer, bro. You got to always be on point, bro, because anything can go down at any time. I done seen stuff go down at all times of the day. It don't matter if it could be 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, bro. We got a unit that done blew up. I remember I worked at the county, man. It was like New Year's Day. It was like 2, 3 in the morning, night shift. We had like 3 people in restraint chairs from the shoe unit. We had everybody, they was flooding, they sailed. The whole shoe unit just blew up, bro. You know, it's been plenty of time. I remember one time I'm working, you know, we doing count, right? We going through the unit and inmate got high. It was about 12:20 at night. We had just got on ship, man. I was working with a female officer. Me and her, just by ourselves, we had to take this inmate down to the floor, put him in restraints, get on the walkie-talkie, call for backup, bro. He high out his mind, disturbing the whole unit. It's after light, you know, it's after count, so it's lights out. Everybody sleep. It's like 12:20 at night, bro. You just never know. I've been one time, bro, a fight broke out. I wasn't even in, 10 minutes into my shift. I was working day shift at this particular time. You know, I look out the corner of my eye, see these 2 inmates fighting, end up having to whip out my OC spray both of them, bro. It goes down at any time, bro. So like I say, it's completely normal, you know, to be scared, bro. You know, this is the thing too right here, bro. This is a good quote right here. I wanted to share this with y'all, bro. This has been, you know, this has served me well, you know, majority of my career, right? If nobody is escaping, nobody's stabbing, ODing, hanging, or fighting, I'm chilling, bro. That's the motto of my career right there, bro. Long as them things right there ain't happening, bro. That's the basis of your job, bro. You trying to make sure nobody's trying to escape. You trying to make sure they not in there fighting, stabbing each other, trying to commit suicide, self-harm themselves. Make sure they not ODing, smoking drugs, doing stuff they're not supposed to do, bro. That's the basis of being a correctional officer. If you stick to those few things right there, you going to be good 99% of the time, bro. And the main thing, too, is making sure when you counting, bro, you counting, making sure everybody's accounted for, everybody's where they're supposed to be. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's hanging. It's a good day, bro. And you keep going. Keep going, bro. You're going to see some crazy stuff. You do this career long enough, man. The best advice I can give you is to just keep going, bro. You clock out, you know, I got stuff that I like to do, to take my mind off of work. If I had a bad day, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm a big gym rat, 23-year gym vet. So that's just what I do. You may have different things that you like to do, man, but you got to have a life outside of corrections. You can't be in correctional officer mode, damn 24/7. You gonna crash out. You gonna burn the candle at both ends of the stick. You just gonna be a train wreck, bro. You can't live your life like that, bro. You gotta know when to shut it off. Live your life outside. It's just a job. This is the thing right here. It's just a job at the end of the day, bro. It's just how we put food on our table and provide for our families, bro. This is the job that we chose. If you decide to come into this field, that's the job you chose. That's the career path you decided to take, bro. It's different from other jobs, but at the end of the day, it's just a job, bro. You get to go home at the end of the day. You may feel like you're doing time with the inmate. I don't be feeling like that, man. I've been doing this so long. It's just a routine day. I look up. I do my whatever I got to do during the duration of my shift. I look up. It's about time for my relief to show up. Boom, I'm out of there. Let's go hit the gym. Let's go do what we do, whatever. Go out to eat, watch my shows, live my life. At the end of the day, it's just a job, bro. This is the next thing I want y'all to learn too, bro. And always remember, don't overcomplicate the job, bro. I know you're going to have a million questions as a new officer. You're going to think that you should do it this way. You overanalyzing everything, bro. You're not going to be able to be a perfect officer. Nobody working in corrections is perfect. We all make mistakes. I don't care if it's your first day on the job or if you 25-year vet. You're going to constantly make mistakes at some point in your career. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't beat yourself up when you make mistakes. When the inmates beat you, you know what I'm saying? You don't catch certain stuff that goes down on your unit. It's a part of the game, bro. You got to learn how to accept them losses along with the wins that you do, the good things that you do in your career, and keep moving. There's something else I want y'all to know too, man, that policy. Know that policy and procedure like the back of your head, because trust me, the inmates know it 10 times better than we do, bro. The inmates, they know our job better than us, bro. They know, what goes where, what time stuff's supposed to go down. You know what I'm saying? There's been times I might not have known something. An inmate came up to me like, hey, CEO, you supposed to do this at such and such time. I make sure it's right. Don't just take their word for it and just do something just because they told you to. But a lot of times, like I say, the inmates be knowing our job better than we do because they there 24 hours. They studying. They know what's going down. You know what I'm saying? They know how the institution is running. They know what time everything occurs, bro. So you got to know that policy. You got to know their procedures. You got to know what they can and what they can't have, bro. It's going to save you so much trouble, bro, especially when situations arises. When you dealing with things like an inmate's religion, you dealing with their medical, stuff like that, bro. If you know that they can have it or they can't have it, bro, you're golden, bro. And if you don't know if they can have it or not, always call somebody. Call the lieutenant, the sergeant, the captain, whoever your supervisor is that's on shift, and verify it, bro, before you do something or you make a decision that could potentially hurt you, especially as a rookie, bro. A lot of times when your rookie year, you under probation. So if you make a big mistake, bro, that could possibly be grounds for you to be fired or terminated from your job. You're not vested. You ain't made it past your probationary year, so you got to do everything by the P's and Q's, do it by the book, know that policy. This is something else, bro. Always remember this, bro. The inmates are not your friend, bro. I don't care how cool they are. I don't care, y'all go in there, they come in the office, maybe asking for a roll of tissue, and they talking about the game. They figure out that your favorite team is such and such, or they ask you about what you like to do, what shows you watch. Maybe they seen or heard something, ear hustling, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they not your friend, bro. They'll sell you out quicker than a heartbeat. They'll get you jammed up. They'll get you hemmed up, bro, before you know it, bro. Now you on the funny pages, bro. You got hemmed up trying to bring in contraband. You feel me? Trying to do something you weren't supposed to do, bro. Doing something for an inmate that you wouldn't do for another inmate, bro. You got to always know how to separate and have those boundaries, bro. Don't let them overstep those boundaries, bro. I'm cool. Like I said, I'm cool with a lot of the inmates on my unit. We have conversations. They see I'm younger. They see I'm big. I'm into the gym. They probably know I listen to rap music. this and that. You know, I have a conversation, shoot the shit, you know, in between whatever I'm doing, you know, just to pass time. But outside of that, when it start to get too personal and they start to cross them boundaries, I got to put them in their place. I got to get them back over here, bro, because I'm not going down that trick hole. You not finna get me hemmed up. You not about to get me jammed up. I'm not losing my job. This job been good to me, bro. I'm there to do a job. I know what I signed up for. I'm not there to take no shortcuts, start being a dirty staff. I'm cool on all of that, bro. You know, for one, I like my freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the job been good for me. The pay, the benefits that comes with it is more than enough, bro. This is the most money I ever made in my life, bro. No lie, working in corrections, you know. And for what we do, the money we make, bro, you can't beat it with a stick, bro. Working in corrections, it's nothing hard about the job, bro. A lot of it is just sitting there observing, making sure nothing happens, making sure the inmate's supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing, bro. A lot of times it's a routine day, routine, boring, same stuff every day. You know, you got your 1%, 5% of the time when something go down, a fight, stab, assault, stabbing, inmate, disturbance on the record or stuff like that. We address it and then we move on, bro, and we back to chilling, bro. That's my motto right there, bro. Like I say, long as ain't nobody fighting, stabbing, hanging, ODing, escaping, I'm chilling, bro. And, you know, I can give you all this game, all this knowledge in these videos, bro, but at the end of the day, you just got to go in there and see for yourself. You know, it's nothing like when you actually get in there and you see how things run. Then you can figure out how you want to be as an officer, how you want to run your unit. You know what I'm saying? What's your pet peeves? What do you expect out the inmate population on your unit? You just got to see and you got to do for yourself, bro. I can't put you in that position yet till you actually have been behind the fence or behind the wall, whatever facility you're going to be working. I'm just trying to give you as best of an idea of what to expect, what's coming if you decide to undertake this job and, you know, go through with the hiring process. Like I said, I always wish all of y'all nothing but the best. I want to see you be successful. I had people that was helping me when I was a rookie, showing me the ropes. So I'm just trying to help other people along the way. Y'all like this video, though? Make sure you subscribe to my channel at The Ghetto Bodybuilder. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok at The Ghetto Bodybuilder. I got the merchandise for sale. Tap in Bitwee on my website. Y'all got any input, thoughts, comments on this video? Make sure you drop a comment. I'll be sure to get back with you as soon as I can. Y'all know how we coming. Let's get motivated